What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
Welcome to Speak For Yourself. Marcellus Wiley up here. Testifying.
You look good.
I look good,
Self.
Do I look good or great? Come on, give me some. Well, people on the pass a collection plate then. Immaculate Acho looking all right. So you know we got to get this thing started. It's Super Bowl week, y'all.
Let's go.
We're just 6 days away from seeing Patrick Mahomes' face against Tom Brady. Ooh, that's going to be a classic matchup. Mahomes has a chance to become the youngest quarterback in NFL history at only 25 years young, with multiple Super Bowl rings, while the 43-year-old Tom Brady is trying to become only the second quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with 2 different franchises. So, Acho Mania, who's under more pressure to win the Super Bowl? Patrick Mahomes or the GOAT? The GOAT, the GOAT.
Let's
Tom
start
Brady.
Super Bowl week off with the fire opening block. I think it is Tom Brady. You know what? I know it is Tom Brady. Tell us who's under more pressure. And it's because of this. Think about how many people in the Bucs organization are looking at Tom Brady like, please, 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 we need you to do this.
Okay.
Like, think about that, big dog. You know that within the Chiefs organization, you have 31 people that have won a Super Bowl. Within the Bucs organization, you have 4 people that have won a Super Bowl. Winning a Super Bowl, it is the ultimate goal. It's the primary objective for anybody involved in the NFL. I know this. Marcellus knows this firsthand. It's the ultimate objective. So Tom Brady's feeling the pressure, not just internally, but externally as well. Because Bruce Arians is looking at Tom Brady like, come on now, big dog. Help me out. Exactly. Help me out. I need this.
Yes.
You got guys like Antonio Brown, such an illustrious career on the field. But AB is looking at Tom Brady like, come on, big dog. I don't even know if I'm going to play, but I got a $750,000 bonus line on winning this game. But more importantly, I got my Hall of Fame resume would be bolstered exponentially just by saying Super Bowl win. You got guys in that organization, Mike Evans, like, come on, man, I've been suffering here. I've been suffering here, this organization. Help me out. So Tom Brady's feeling the pressure internally himself, realizing that he's the GOAT. He's at the mountaintop. But so many people are looking at him as the GOAT, dependent on him to eat. And I'm not talking about eating a regular season meal. I'm talking about eating in the most grandiose way, a Super Bowl. But the last thing on this first lap I will say is this. You are the GOAT facing someone who wants to be the GOAT. You on top. The only way you can relinquish that power that you have, the only way you can relinquish that name that you have is if somebody comes and takes it from you, which is Patrick Mahomes. So Tom Brady is currently fighting from victory. Patrick Mahomes is fighting for victory. The person fighting from victory got a little bit more pressure because it's like, I have something to lose. That's my GOAT status and my GOAT name.
Oh, you said a lot. I heard GOAT a lot. Yeah, you know the answer to this is Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to keep it simple because sometimes I could fly over people with my mentality, with my understandings, and sometimes my articulation. And I go so deep and complex that people are like, just keep it simple, stupid. Here's a kiss for you people out there. Young man in his prime. I'm talking about a young man who is 25 years young with a better team, with a better coach, with a better organization. Better. He better not only play better, but he better win this game, or else everyone's going to look at him as like, ooh, empty calories. Did you lose to the old man? You couldn't knock the old man out of his rocking chair. You couldn't knock the old man off the porch. Get off the lawn. He should get slapped right now by Patrick Mahomes and his greatness if he's better. That's why there's more pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Don't forget, let's go a little recent history. The last time Patrick Mahomes felt bad about a playoff experience was at the hands of Tom Brady.
Yes, sir.
Don't let it happen again, because that will be the nail in the coffin of the premature GOAT conversation that Patrick Mahomes is trying to enter in, correct? Yeah, what do they call that? What's a baby goat? A billy goat? Well, I don't know. A little itty bitty goat? That's what he's trying to be right now if he wins too. Pressure's on you, brother, to get to where Tom Brady has departed. Tom Brady's not even where Patrick Mahomes will be if he wins this game. Imagine Patrick Mahomes, let's go a week from now, we're on this show Monday. Oh my God, Kansas City Chiefs, they won that game. That's 2. Brady like, I'm 6, 3X that, homeboy. Still not even close to me. But we know how this world works, where perception is not reality, and people will perceive him as entering into a different conversation. We'll discuss that later. But the point is, when you walk around, you got all the cards. And Acho, you're a gambling man.
Yeah, man.
You look like a gambling man, too. You know what I'm saying? A guy who just walks in there, no, I don't need no drink. Got to keep a mind clear. Excuse me, young lady. No, I'm good. You know who I am. Acho, check it out. Hey, Oprah, I'm at the tables, Oprah. And you know, that's who you are, Acho. All that. And you got the cards you want. And Patrick Mahomes has the cards he wants. Look at his weapons in his receiving duo. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Look at his record in terms of, what is it? What did you always quote to me? 25, no, 30 wins the last 2 seasons. 42 really for 2 this year. Because you ain't even gonna get a deal just like passing another card. And you lose this situation, oh, pressure's on you to win this one.
I like where you're at, big dog. I like where you at, but I get paid to converse and I get paid to push back. So let's do so.
Let's push.
When you think about Tom Brady, I look at it like this. If you throw an interception, Marcellus Wiley, at the goal line, and you're about to score, and you throw a pick 6 at the goal line,
100-yard return?
100-yard return.
Damn.
I look at that as a 14-point swing.
I'm with you.
Because you was about to score, and now they just scored.
Okay.
So if you're Tom Brady, I'm looking at this as a 2 Super Bowl swing. Think about it.
We're doing that.
Think about it.
You can't do that. You can do that within a game, not in terms of a legacy.
Think about it. If you about to get one and keep Patrick Mahomes from getting one. Now, if you don't get it and he gets it, that's the 2 Super Bowl swing. When you're talking about GOAT status, when you're talking about legacies, which is what this game comes down to. It comes down to a game of the GOAT versus a potential future GOAT. Then you're talking about, wait a second, Tom Brady isn't just playing for one. He's not just playing for one. If he was playing against Aaron Rodgers, if he was playing against Ben Roethlisberger, that's different. But he's not only playing for his, he's also playing to keep what will be his nemesis when it comes down to the greatest of all time from getting one as well. That's an added level of pressure right there. We have to do it. Because this game is the biggest Super Bowl of Patrick Mahomes' career, the biggest game Patrick Mahomes will ever play in. The only reason it has that magnitude is because who he's playing against. So we got to go there. And if you're Tom Brady, you know this too, big dog. He knows that this game isn't just about him, but he also needs to keep Patrick Mahomes from getting another one and getting closer. That, to me, screams pressure on Brady's behalf because Brady's window is closing. Maybe he'll play till 45. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes, even if he only plays till 35, that's still another 10 years.
Yeah, but, oh, man, we going all these places. Okay.
Got to.
I mean, one, I just swear this is just Floyd Mayweather Canelo again. And as I know, Max Kellerman, my dog, Chris Mannix, my dog, all these boxing gurus, every time they talk about Canelo and they start inflating him, somebody walks by from that same casino, drunk as hell. Hey, Floyd whooped him. Floyd whooped him. And then Canelo goes, lets all the air out of the balloon. If Patrick Mahomes is getting inflated, and it may be a decade worth, 2 more decades, in 20 years, Acho and I doing this show, gray-haired and all, I'm still wearing the pastor suits. You look in the mess. You need to shape up. We're still up in here 20 years later. I don't want to hear about Patrick Mahomes, dog, because he would have been handled in person by Tom Brady on the field, not once, twice, and maybe even counting. You got to get over that hump, just so we cannot be in that conversation 20 years from now saying, oh, well, but. And it's a huge but statement if Tom Brady has his way once again for Patrick Mahomes. Let's be real about this. When you talk about Patrick Mahomes, you're looking at a guy who has the most wins, passing yards, passing touchdowns, and highest passer rating of any quarterback through 53 starts in the Super Bowl era. Acho, you can't have all of that. I don't know what game you play when you're in Vegas, but you can't get everything you want and lose that hand? That's what this looks like to me. Mahomes simply has everything he needs. Highest scoring average in the postseason of all quarterbacks ever. You can't be that guy. Commercial after commercial, people in his barbershop looking just like him. Like, the dude making gremlins. Like, you're just a bunch of Patrick Mahomes is everywhere. You can't be that guy and not win this game.
But all of that stuff sounds great, Marcellus, unless you're playing against what is the GOAT. Tom Brady trumps all those great stats Patrick Mahomes has on paper.
That's real.
Because just like the casino, what they say about the house.
House wins.
House always wins.
Yeah.
Tom Brady thus far is the house. Tom Brady, it doesn't matter. 18 healthy seasons in New England, 9 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowl wins. Tom Brady always wins. The house always wins. So Tom Brady, all that stuff is cute that Patrick Mahomes has this record and that record and the youngest to ever do it. But Tom Brady is the best to ever do it thus far. Patrick Mahomes, all his quantifications and qualifications are predicated upon his age. Tom Brady's thus far are just predicated upon his greatness.
Bing, bing.
So it comes down to Tom Brady's greatness still trumps Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, we just elevate it because of the age. So Patrick Mahomes, I love that he's coming to the table with all these youthful accolades.
Okay.
But Tom Brady's overall accolades trump that. For that reason, Tom Brady, it's like, bro, you still should beat this dude. I understand.
Hold on, what did you just say? Are you against the ropes right now in this conversation? Tom Brady should beat Patrick Mahomes. You go in there. You on my side.
If you're the greatest of all time.
I didn't say you're the best. I said you're the greatest.
But you're the greatest of all.
He has lost in the Super Bowl before. Eli Manning's sitting there like, excuse me, Dougie Fresh.
I understand that. But, Marcel, if you the OG.
If Eli has beat you twice, you saying Patrick Mahomes can't get him?
You the OG. How you going to let Marcel?
Nick Foles beat him. You saying that Patrick Mahomes shouldn't beat him?
It's like letting your son whoop you.
He can. You see my son?
The only time you ever let your son, you let him beat me. You came on this set.
We on the fence right now.
You came on this set and you said, I let little man beat
a little bit.
So if you're Patrick, if you're Tom Brady, you can't let this kid beat you now.
Ooh, kid is a small goat, a little baby goat. I give you all that. And you're saying Tom Brady's the house, and we know every time we go to Vegas, they building more casinos. It's because of losers like Acho out there giving them their money, right? So if Tom Brady's the house,
the house.
Patrick Mahomes need to get in the house. I know it's Black History Month. I shouldn't be saying get in the house, Patrick Mahomes, but damn it, you need to figure out a way to beat this dude. I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
You laughing too hard. You laughing too hard off set.
Here's the point. I can't believe where I am right now when I see the names of those, you are dumb too, of those who have conquered the house, who have taken the house's money. Nick Foles, Eli Manning, not Peyton. I ain't say Peyton. I know E and a P. Eli Manning, who is good to great, but come on. You could add Nick Foles up with 2 Eli Mannings and still not get Patrick Mahomes in projection and reality of who he is. Come on, big dog. You know if you're the favorite, if you're in a situation this year in a Super Bowl where there's really no home field advantage. Super Bowls barely have a home field advantage in the first place, if you want to even say that.
Can I ask you this?
Because it's a corporate environment. You're in Tampa Bay, and you're still the favorites. You got to win,
Let me ask you this, please.
I'm mad at you.
LeBron James, our current greatest of all time. Our current, right? Like Michael Jordan, he ain't played in a long time. LeBron James is our current.
Hold on. GOAT is just GOAT. You can't say Joe Montana. He lost it to
I didn't feel like arguing about Okay, LeBron, I'll just call him the GOAT for the sake of this conversation.
Okay, good.
LeBron James, the GOAT.
Wipe my
He was playing against the Golden State Warriors. Several great Golden State Warriors teams. Even though Golden State was great, I don't think we ever went into the finals saying like, yeah, LeBron James shouldn't win.
Ooh.
We never did. Even though Golden State had their talented rosters.
He's only been favored twice.
I'm not talking about Vegas. I'm not talking about odds right now. I'm talking about analysts. I'm talking about dudes who watch the game and dudes who proclaim LeBron's greatness or a greatness. Even if you're not the favorite, we still go into the game because they're the GOAT and say, you know what? You the GOAT. Like, you're supposed to defy the odds. You're supposed to be able to transcend Vegas to stats. You're supposed to be able to transcend some norms. So if I'm looking at Tom Brady, I understand you're not the favorite. I don't think they're supposed to win. But I'm saying that, Tom Brady, you on the field, which means you should win. I'm not betting on it, but you're the GOAT. Like, you are the GOAT. Wait a minute. How you gonna let this kid come in here and beat you? You are the GOAT.
Let's talk equity. Let's talk house money. Tom Brady with 10 appearances, with 6 wins before kickoff, when no other player has even been to more than 6 Super Bowls, he's sitting there like, I may have 7 rings, 7 wins. That's called house money. That's called no pressure. And that's called Patrick Mahomes. If you are my adversary in this moment, the pressure's on you. As we know with energy, It can't be created or destroyed. Just transferred. And if it's not on Tom Brady's lap because he has house money, only leaves one person, and that's you, Patrick Mahomes. You're trying to climb a mountain. You ever climb a mountain? I did one this weekend, Culver City Stairs. Whip my ass. I was sitting there shaking, feel like them 2-a-day workouts because I was trying to climb it. I got to the top where Patrick Mahomes wants to be, but where Tom Brady resides, ain't no pressure up there. The pressure's all behind you. The pressure is all down beneath you. It's not in the climb unless you're Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady's still climbing in some rare air space. Like, we can't even see him beyond the clouds. But if you're Patrick Mahomes, you got to catch up, brother, and that's where the pressure is.
That's good, but let's go one final layer a little bit deeper. You know me. I throw punches. If I don't knock you out, I save one. My one last right hook. The argument we've had all season long is about Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. The argument we've had.
Yeah, and we're going to keep having it.
We will.
Yeah, at the end of the show, too.
Unless Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl, then there's truly, in year one away from Bill Belichick, there's truly not much Bill Belichick can do to trump that. Like, Belichick, you can win 2 Super Bowls over the next 10 years, but we'll still be like, first impression is a lasting impression, and Tom Brady's first impression after leaving you was an instant Super Bowl win. So, Belichick, you can go win 2 more. Sure, win 3 more. We're still going to remember Tom Brady left you and instantly won. But what if Tom Brady goes to the Super Bowl and loses? Nobody talks about the loser. Nobody remembers the loser. So, Tom Brady, if you lose this Super Bowl, you're leaving the window cracked for Bill Belichick to now come back in and take the reins over who was more important to your success. And I think that last pivotal component is why Tom Brady is again under more pressure. We're not trying to deduce Andy Reid versus Patrick Mahomes. We ain't talking about that. Maybe in 15 years we will. Right now we're not. But what we have spent the last 4 months trying to detract is who is more important, Belichick or Brady? Brady, you win a Super Bowl, it don't matter what Belichick do. At best, he can equal you. Brady, if you don't win this Super Bowl, Belichick can still surpass you as soon as next season, if we're being honest.
Well, let me be honest about your, what'd you call it, pivotal component. Let's talk about that crack window. You know who ain't climbing in that house, even if the window is cracked? You know who ain't going to be the Night Stalker? Patrick Mahomes, because guess what? He got to get on the block first before he can crack the window. That's the point. The pressure is on him to grab what Brady has. He's not even on the block. So guess what? That's all you hear is Patrick Mahomes trying to catch up. I don't want to hear about Belichick. That's a separate conversation. Brady and Mahomes will be on that field Sunday. And if Brady's feeling like this, looking down at that little kid in Patrick Mahomes, boy, he better get to catching. Coming up at the top of the hour, the Chiefs beat the Bucs in their first matchup this year. We'll tell you if that should concern Tampa. But first, Matthew Stafford is in L.A. and Jared Goff is out of L.A. We'll tell you if the big trade was a smart move by the Rams. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Welcome back. It's time for our big story presented by U.S. Army. What's your warrior? Well, there was a blockbuster news over the weekend. Multiple reports say the Rams traded Jared Goff, 2 future first-round picks, and a third-round pick for former Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford. The move cannot be official till March 17th, but the Rams already jumped to 6th best Super Bowl odds for next season, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. A report says Sean McVay spent time in Cabo with Stafford last week, and the head coach became, quote, fixated on the quarterback and pushed for the Rams to get him. So, Marcellus.
Fixated.
I'm not going to ask you if that was tampering. I don't know if you're allowed to spend time with
Well, in Cabo, if you're drunk, there's an exception. If you're lit, we can have an exception. Cabo.
Well, let's talk about it. Was it a smart move by the Rams to trade for Matt Stafford.
No, it wasn't a smart move. It was a genius move, pairing him with another genius in Sean McVay. If you ever had some time to sit down with Sean McVay, the first thing you will feel is how inadequate you are in terms of acumen about the game of football. Man, that dude is next level. I'm not just talking about his recall. That's already well documented. I'm just talking about the complexities, the way he sees the game, the way he schemes up the game. And you can see that it has worked. His fingerprints are on an organization that was going through futility prior to his existence. Now, let's say why this is a genius move. One, you just got to look at the other side of the ball, being frank, first. Look at the first-ranked defense. Look at the first-ranked defense in points allowed and yards. Let's look at what they have. And what they have there is Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Those two guys being the guys that they are for this team, you can't waste their talents while they're still in their prime. So when you're thinking about your defense and giving up the fewest points allowed, now you got to look at your offense and say, are you holding up your end of the bargain? Unfortunately, the Rams offense wasn't. And then they have an opportunity to go get a quarterback who we all know, if people don't know, let me just profess this, who has probably the best arm in the league, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford. I'll throw them in a competition to say who's going to win. It's a flip them. But if you want to talk about what Matthew Stafford was dealing with in Detroit, pretty sad. Over the last 2 seasons, my man Matthew Stafford has seen his defense give him more points allowed than any other team in the league. So all of his efforts were for naught. His team would just give up 29.4 points per game, no matter what he did. Now you put him on a team that gives up the fewest amount of points per game with his same talents. His best football should be in front of him as he's paired now with a genius. It was a genius move.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a smart move, and the reason I believe so is coaches, organizations, management, they don't oftentimes keep their foot on the pedal. And what I mean by that, I remember in college, back when I was playing in Texas, we were good, won the national championship that year, and we were up against like Colorado or something, Marcellus, at halftime, up by maybe 14. Defensive coordinator Will Muschamp, he comes out there, you got their head on the curb, now kick it in. I'm like, oh, coach, calm down. Okay?
Hey, what movie you been watching?
A little too violent.
Your Honor?
But then I said, wait a second. What he's saying is, when you're close, finish the job. The Rams realize we have a top-flight defense. They know they're close.
Yeah.
Finish the job.
Yeah,
most teams get content with having a good defense. We'll stay with an adequate quarterback, and we'll be close in the running, and we might win it. But Sean McVay is like, no. Aaron Donald has 3 to 5 years left in his prime. Jalen Ramsey probably has 5 to 7 years left in his prime. Okay. Top-flight cornerback player.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste it.
Don't waste
but
it.
An even more intricate and intriguing stat is this. The last 3 years, we look at the teams with the #1 scoring defense, but look at what happened to them the following year. 2017, the Vikings, the following year, 8-7-1. Their quarterback, Kirk Cousins, they missed the playoffs. The Bears had the #1 scoring defense. Then Mitch Trubisky the following year, they go 8-8, missed the playoffs. The Patriots had the #1 scoring defense in 19, but the following year, 7-9, Cam Newton's their quarterback, they missed the playoffs. Now the Rams had the best defense in 2020, scoring defense. They did not want to follow suit with what we have seen so many other teams do. So many other teams are like, nah, we got a good defense. We're just going to assume we'll get better. Osmosis, happenstance, maybe just going back to practice. Not the Rams. They're like, wait a second. We think we might be a slight upgraded quarterback away. Let's go ahead and make that upgrade, see what happens. Well, let's bring in somebody for another opinion. Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. So, Bucky, talk to us. Was this a smart move by the Rams to trade for Matt Stafford?
Smart move. I hear you guys waxing poetic about Matthew Stafford as if he is the best thing that we've ever seen at the quarterback position. However, I'm going to tell you that the emperor has no clothes. When we look at Matthew Stafford, look, he's been phenomenal as an individual player. His talent speaks for itself. But at the end of the day, quarterbacks are judged by their ability to get the team to the winner's circle. When I look at Matthew Stafford, the individual numbers are spectacular. 282 touchdowns, 144 interceptions. But the problem is you have a guy who only has 4 winning seasons on his watch. He has 0 playoff wins. He hasn't been able to do it. And I know what we're going to say. We're going to say, oh, it's a team sport. That wasn't on him. They let him down. He didn't have the pieces around him to be successful. But the funny thing is, when I look at Jared Goff's numbers, Jared Goff's numbers are comparable. Matthew Stafford's career passer rating is 89.9. You know what Jared Goff's is? 91. Matthew Stafford has 10-plus interceptions in 10 of his 12 seasons. Jared Goff has 10-plus interceptions in the last 3, which made Sean McVay very upset. So what we've done is we've swapped out quarterbacks, and we have a more talented quarterback in the position, but now we don't have any picks, and we can't add any more pieces to help Matthew Stafford out. Because as Marcellus talked about, oh, he hasn't had a defense. And then I'll tell you, oh, he hasn't had a running game. Well, guess what? You can't add any more pieces because you auction off all the picks to bring back the quarterback. So while it may look different, Sean McVay may feel better because now he can do some plays that he couldn't do with Jared Goff. The results will be the same, if not worse, because I'm not convinced that they're going to win more games with Matthew Stafford, their quarterback.
Well, let's fight. It's time to get it in, brother. I wholeheartedly disagree with you on so many levels. Let's just start here with the whole understanding of a first-round pick. And I know a lot of us are enamored with that first-round pick because you can get a franchise hopes to go up as soon as you draft someone that they saw at the collegiate game level, go out there and now become a part of your franchise. And everyone's like, yeah, except there's a transition. Except that when you see a guy making that transition, not all of them succeed. So let's look at what the contract terms are for acquiring Matthew Stafford. Basically, you just got Matthew Stafford for 2 years and $43 million. What? Are you kidding me? 21 and a half for Matthew Stafford per year? Smart deal. And you don't have to pay an unproven rookie all of this money just to see if he's going to prove himself when you have a proven veteran. Let's talk about this veteran because Bucky wants to make it seem like Matthew Stafford's not the best. Well, duh, but is he better than Jared Goff? Oh, yes. Let's talk about this. Matthew Stafford gives you the deep ball element that Jared Goff struggled with. Matthew Stafford on 20-plus yards downfield throws, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 118 passer rating. Let's see what Jared Goff did in the same amount of throws down the field. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 65 passer rating. That's not good. So now you don't have a deep threat element, which is going to crowd the running game. Is also going to make it difficult for the Rams receivers in a short intermediate passing game. All of that makes it harder on your offense. Let's talk about the fact the last 3 seasons, no one has more turnovers than Jared Goff. The same Jared Goff that's making $33.5 million per year, the same Jared Goff that has been in regression because the Rams offense was number 1 in scoring in 2017. Dropped to number 2, not much of a drop. I understand that. But then they dropped to 11, and then this year, 22. Hey, Jared, you're getting all your money, but why are you going the wrong direction? You can't throw the deep ball as well. Your passer rating is dropping off of a cliff, and you're making it harder for us to run the ball as well as throw the short game. Make it make sense. Oh, you can by getting Matthew Stafford.
You can make it make some sense. See, that's the problem in our society this day and age. We got extremists. We got Bucky Brooks on one extreme. We got Marcellus Wiley on another extreme. Well, and here Emmanuel Acho comes as a peacekeeper.
Moderate.
To hold his hands out and say there are 2 extremes. I actually lean more on Bucky Brooks' side than I do you, Marcellus, because tangibly, I think Matthew Stafford is light years ahead of Jared Goff. Tangibly. But to Bucky's point, I believe quarterback is a winning statistic. Now, like all statistics, there are outliers. I understand that. Deshaun Watson, he is an outlier.
Baker Mayfield.
But look at the quarterbacks currently in the playoffs and the last 4 that were there. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Winning quarterbacks win football games. So when you look at Matthew Stafford and you're like, wait a second, bro. You ain't really 1 in 12 opportunities there? Like, they couldn't pattern match you with coaching or management to win in 12 chances? Meanwhile, the coach that got fired from Detroit, not Patricia, the coach before Patricia, everybody's begging for him to get another job. Wait a second, Stafford, what's really good? So with all that being said, I understand, yes, the Rams upgraded tangibly Marcellus Wiley, but as far as intangibles, that is to be seen. Coming up, we'll be joined by a 6-time Pro Bowler, Saints defensive end, my dog, Cam Jordan. We'll ask him about Drew Brees' future and much more. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
Welcome back. Our next guest is a 6-time Pro Bowler and a member of the 2010's All-Decade Team. Saints defensive end Cameron Jordan recently completed his 10th season in the NFL, and he joins us now. Cameron, welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm so jealous of those numbers. Good Lord. How you doing, big dog?
I'm good. Dog, I'd be that much closer to 100 sacks if I only didn't have that one sack my rookie year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to earn my third down spots. It's tough.
Better than my rookie year. I had 0, and my last year 0. So keep it going, big dog. But you're a true model of consistency, keeping it real, making a Pro Bowl each of the last 4 seasons and 6 times in total. What's been your key to consistent production?
Man, you know, I try and tell everybody, look, I go back to Arizona in the offseason. I reset not only the mind, but the body, too. I wait till it gets that summertime heat, throw on the sweats, and really get it out the I would say out the mud, but there is no rain in Arizona. So I get it out the dust.
Hey, I respect it, bro. Okay, let's talk about another dude who models consistency, Drew Brees. Oh. He's accomplished about everything you can accomplish in a game of football, been your fearless leader for so many years. If you were him, if you were Drew Brees, what would you do? What you got left to prove?
I mean, hopefully, I said another Super Bowl, but honestly, I mean, with all the records that he holds, I'm sure he's going to go back to, you know, with his fam and figure out what's best for him. I know what's best for me is knowing that I have Drew Brees at quarterback. But, you know, he's already a legend in so many stats. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and whenever he decides to hang it up, I'm sure he's already secured his broadcasting deal whenever he decides to hang it up, like, you know, a lot of these guys have. So whenever he does decide to call it quits, he'll do so knowing that he's one of the best to ever do it.
Now, you talked about another Super Bowl, but I need a locker room answer right now. Nobody's watching, just you and Acho. We all just chilling right here. What's the biggest reason your team is not preparing for a Super Bowl right now? Remember, locker room answer.
We talking about this year because it doesn't matter that we beat the entire NFC South twice. We sweeped everybody in the NFC South, and then to lose the third game, the third Tampa game, the most important Tampa Bay game. We lose that. It makes the other games not important. At the end of the day, you know, you lose to a team that you embarrassed and beat, you know, the first and second time. We got embarrassed the third time. I mean, to lose to them by 10 points, to have 4 turnovers, to, you know, them put up 21 points over 66 yards against our defense, you know, that hurts. When you have a short field, you've got to at least, you know, make them kick the field goal. They ended up with 21. That's on us. That's something that we have to reflect on, and I'll be doing. I've done that for the last 2 weeks. I'll be doing that for the next 6 months.
Now, you did a great job of telling us what happened. We saw it. But tell me why it happened. Come on, big dog. I need you to, you know, grab one of those in Arizona mudslide or something with me, big dog. Tell me.
Look, that's what I'm saying. I can't tell you why. I mean, you talk about any given Sunday.
Okay.
A lot of things. Look, it's like you have a checklist. You know, coach is going to come up with a checklist of these things can't happen for you to lose a game. Did we think we were better than them? Sure. Did we know we were better than them? Absolutely. But they came up with hope. You have 4 turnovers. You have, you know, a special teams return that gets called back. There's 5 chances for us to completely stomp them out, and we didn't do that. So why? We didn't do enough. That's why.
That sounds like a team leader. That sounds like a leader right there. I like that. All right, Cam, let's talk about this. You played both the Chiefs this year and you played the Bucs this year. Which team would you rather face? Or let me simplify it. Which offense is more dangerous in your eyes?
Clearly during the regular season, it didn't matter who we faced. But postseason wise, I mean, I mean, the Bucs clearly. I mean, they're headed to the Super Bowl. It is what it is.
But what about the Chiefs? Chiefs or Bucs?
He heard the question.
I mean, Chiefs have the Super Bowl too now.
I hear you. I hear you. No, honestly, like, you know, that's a hell of a matchup. You can't go against, you know, 5 rings on one hand versus probably 2 on the next. I'm gonna say probably 2.
6 rings.
Yeah.
Man, okay. Look, I'm sorry he over here badgering you as a guest on our show. You sure you don't want to say the Chiefs? I can't, like I'm a vet. I know what I said. But look at this situation here, man. During the regular season, once again, Drew Brees, the great, got injured again. And we saw you guys go to Taysom Hill, and there was some conversation, I don't know if it turned into controversy over why not play Jameis Winston more. I had a theory that was like, maybe they've seen enough from Jameis Winston and it's great to the point where they want to keep all of that talent and everyone seeing that talent in-house. But why didn't we see Jameis Winston go out there and produce in the interim when Drew Brees was down?
Rarely is it above my pay grade, but this is above my pay grade. When you talk about what Jameis brings to the locker room, the energetic personality that Jameis is, his ability to throw that deep ball. I mean, and I played against Jameis, 5 straight years, 10 straight times, with him being a part of the Bucs, and he's going up top pork chop as he called it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going deep. He just threw for 5,000 yards his last year over Tampa, and again, let him tell it. He's going to be the best quarterback if he eliminates some of those, 30 interceptions that he had 2 seasons ago. But when you did see him, you saw, how well he was able to transition and accurately throw the ball and continue with what we know of Jameis Winston. So if up top says, hey, this is our guy, then I'm more than ready to ride with my guy.
I respect it. Now, I hate to do this to you, bro, because y'all have accomplished so much, but let's go back. When you think about the Minnesota Miracle, you think about the bogus PI call, you think about the Vikings beating y'all in overtime, then you somehow think about the Bucs loss after you dominated them twice. What comes to mind? Do you feel like y'all underachieved, or do you just feel like any given Sunday?
The culmination of both of those. I mean, you talk about a Super Bowl bust every year. Nobody ever goes into, or at least, correction, our locker room never goes into any season, thinking, we have a chance to make the playoffs. No, we have a chance to make a Super Bowl run. So any year that we fall short of Super Bowl, of course, is just that. It's falling short of our expectations. Granted, we haven't won a Super Bowl in the Saints building in 12 years. We still think we're a higher than average playoff caliber team that has a chance each time we touch the playoffs to hit the Super Bowl. So that's why it's always we falling short of our expectations.
Okay, 94.5 sacks, 3-time All-Pro, 1 first team, 2 second team, 6 Pro Bowls, 10-year vet. What do you got left to prove?
100 sacks. What do you mean? In my mind, I'm really 93.5 sacks in 9 years. I don't really count. Look, they try to relegate me to just first and down my rookie year. 93.5 sacks in 9 years makes me feel a whole hell of a lot better. 94, I look, I've got a lot left. I'm probably 20.5 sacks away from the Saints record, and then we'll talk about it after next year.
Man, I'm gonna cut up my career like that. 3 years, 30 sacks. That's how I did it too. I like that math right there. But being real, guys climb the mountain different ways. Some guys are chasing the goal in terms of Hall of Fame status, which your numbers put you in that conversation. And some guys like, look, I'm just gonna run as far as I can, and then when I'm done, I'll look back and see what I've accomplished. Talk about you in terms of thinking of the Hall of Fame or your future goals. You put yourself in that position yet? How do you feel?
In the offseason, I allowed myself to do so. During season, I'm just worried about the next game. The next game is the most important game because it is the next game. Offseason, I look back like 7.5 sacks, in my career, 94.5 sacks, 51 batted balls. I consider myself anything but just a pass rusher. I think of myself as a run-stopping, complete defensive end. I play first, second, third, fourth down. In the offseason, I get a watch film, break down the 1,000 snaps that you play during the year and really get after what I need to improve upon for the next year. When it comes down to it, I'm always just trying to elevate play. So whatever gets me there. And then whenever I walk away from this game, hopefully, we all don't get to walk away from this game on our own accord, but hopefully I get to do so. When that time comes, I'll look back at the career and see what happens.
I know you think you're a Hall of Famer because I think you're a Hall of Famer with those kind of numbers, certainly looking up high from where I am standing right now. But, man, a lot of guys miss the boat in terms of thinking of next in the now. And you have a podcast, an amazing podcast, where not only do you have tremendous content, but tremendous understanding of the game and the game of life. Tell us about your podcast and how you're liking that experience.
Man, I got to team up with my brother. You know, my brother from another mother. We came in together 2011 draft class, Mark Ingram, you know, Alabama's first Heisman Trophy winner. You know, all the accolades, you know, Pro Bowler himself. We walk in and, you know, it's big trust levels. So, you know, we got to just, me and him wrap this offseason, was like, you know, let's put something together. It's probably because I just missed my dog. You know what I'm saying? He left us 2 years ago to go to Baltimore. I was like, man, we got to do something together so we can always keep our off seasons right. And do together the Trust Levels podcast and just, you know, started chopping it up with our friends. What's better than a podcast when it's not, you know, when it's not syndicated? It feels it's authentic. So as you know what I'm saying, when you have a personal relationship with the guy you're working with, it's so much more fun.
What makes your podcast different than the other ones? Because, you know, the market's saturated right now with a lot of conversations. What makes y'all's conversation so unique, so special?
Between me and him, I mean, I don't know who else have played together for 8 years, lived together for a little bit. You know, when I first got to New Orleans, the ability to rely on each other, feed off each other's energy. It's not something that was created or fabricated. This is something that's been real since day one. So you feel that authentic vibe.
Respect. Well, Cam, appreciate you, brother.
I got one more, big dog, because I got a connection to Cam Jordan. Obviously, it's well documented. You're a second-generation NFL football player. Your father, tremendous player, Ivy Leaguer. Yeah, there you go. Let them know about the Ivy League. Representing.
Big legacy five.
And you know what's great about that, as we're going to see Patrick Mahomes, who is a second-generation professional athlete. Just some of the nuggets that you were able to acquire over the years from your father and that experience, and now you out there doing it great as well.
Man, you know, Pops was a workout warrior. He won, you know, the off-season belts where, you know, you do the conditioning tests and you're that vaunted, heralded, like, workhorse. I won those too. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're growing up and you watch, you know, I watched my dad, even after he retired. He retired when I was like 5. I watched him 3-4 times a week, you know, hit the gym, you know, go running every Saturday. We're out there really grinding. Like he instilled that grind into us long before we knew what grinding was. You know what I'm saying? Like when we thought we were just out there having fun and we're out here running, you know, posts, digs, you know, everything about the game of football long before we even started playing football. By the time we got to it, our love for the game was so strong, so deep. We had that edge. I mean, that mental fortitude. Like we knew every Saturday after chores, we was out there getting it in. Like we were going to, you know, be running, conditioning, whatever it was, working on some sort of hand-eye coordination. I mean, it was just, and watching him do everything that we do. I mean, if he never really asked us to do anything that he wasn't willing to do. So again, that hard work that he put out there is what we grew up watching. So it was just that much easier to transition into wanting to be the best and wanting to be the hardest worker.
Man, I love to hear that story, man. The kid comes from old money. Boy, the kid has his own money right there. Gotta respect.
You know, they wasn't making scratch, bro. Like, he made more being an engineer in the offseason than he did playing football his first couple years. He thought about just being an engineer. Luckily, he's a brown guy. He could do that. He's an Ivy Leaguer, you know what I'm saying?
There it is, man. Love it, man. Look how the game has grown. And congratulations to you, man. Continued success on and off the field, Cam. Thanks for joining us, big dog.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it always.
All right.
Hey, y'all stay blessed.
No question. Dog. Coming up, Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes will be a top storyline in the Super Bowl. But that's not it. We'll give you all of our top storylines next on Speak for Yourself. Cam. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. We're less than a week away from Super Bowl 55. It's time to set the stage for the Chiefs and Bucs showdown. Our top 3 storylines for the Super Bowl. Acho, you're up first. Give us your top storylines for Super Bowl Sunday.
My top 3 storylines, Sale. I wanted to go with a little bit of the higher hanging fruit. So at number 3, let's talk about the GOAT conversation that some people aren't talking about. Travis Kelce. Right, we're currently debating the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Woo! But Travis Kelce's about to enter himself into the greatest tight end of all time.
Tony Gonzalez.
Think about it. Tony Gonzalez played for 17 seasons, no rings. Shannon Sharp played for what, 12, 13,
You're smoking the whole network.
3 rings. No.
Antonio Gates?
I'm just saying, Travis Kelce is about to start inching himself into the conversation. Okay. He ain't going to trump Shannon Sharp. He ain't going to trump Unc. He ain't going to trump Tony Gonzalez just yet. But watch out. Don't sleep on Killer Trav.
You ain't lying.
Okay, my second storyline that we got to talk about. Who gonna gonna guard Tyreek Hill, Marcellus?
Air.
Somebody. Air and hope.
The atmosphere.
That's the question everybody got to ask. Carlton Davis, he was lined up against Tyreek Hill. I'm going to talk about it more next block. 9 times. Tyreek Hill, 9 for 9, 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. So the question is, for the Buccaneers, who is going to stop that man? You can't put one person on him, so you better hope that 2 will work. But my number one storyline is a storyline that's nearest and dearest to my heart.
Let me hear it.
Let's talk about the potential win for diversity when you talk about the Bucs coaching staff. Bruce Arians, he said in the offseason, he said, my philosophy is to create head coaches. Now, we talk about the lack of minority head coaches in the NFL. Yeah. Well, one way to do it is to slap the NFL with success when it talks about diversity. 3 minority staff leaders as far as special teams, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, 2 women assistants on the staff. Buccaneers already being here, win for diversity. But if they win, huge win for diversity.
Yeah, people haven't checked out the photo of the coaching staff. Yeah, it looks like our show a little bit. And one of them leading that is the offensive coordinator and my former teammate in Byron Leftwich. Tremendous talent, tremendous career, even better as a person leading this offense. No coincidence, Tom Brady hits the ground running because this guy is one of them in charge. All right, let me start off with my top 3 storylines for the Super Bowl. And number 3, what about home field advantage in the Super Bowl? With a question mark. You know why? Usually you don't even see a team playing a home game in the Super Bowl. But Tom Brady changed that. But Tom Brady, better record on the road this year than at home. Tom Brady and this team scored more points away from Tampa and Tampa allowed more points per game on the road than at home. Is there really going to be a home field advantage for you? We're going to check it out and see. Let's go with number 2, the coaching matchup. Oh, Arians going out there right now. Bruce, you're trying to take that step up, just like my man Andy did last year. Remember, he was the greatest coach that couldn't win, and he finally made that leap. Can Arians do the same thing? He has Super Bowl experience as an assistant, but can he take that leap? But my number 1 is Tom Brady's gap year. No, he's not going back to college with his old butt. But this is a gap year in terms of, hey, Patrick Mahomes, you're trying to, as you said, inch your way into a GOAT conversation? Well, let me put a little gap between where you are and where you trying to go, because Brady, in his first year in Tampa Bay, already has him in the Super Bowl, already has 6 rings to Patrick Mahomes' 1. If Patrick Mahomes loses this Super Bowl, a little bit more of a gap in that GOAT conversation.
I got a question for you, big dog. Let's go back to storyline number 2, the coaching matchup.
Let's go.
Are you not concerned about Bruce Arians' no risk it, no biscuit mantra coming into this game when you really aren't trying to risk it against the Chiefs?
You know what's interesting? I read an article about Tom Brady and his approach this year, as we've seen it in different stages. So after the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, they haven't lost a game yet. Think about it. They had the bye week, and they came to an understanding. 1, we have to use the play action more often. 2, we need more pre-snap motion. And 3, the pseudo punt, as they call it. Basically, on 3rd down, if Tom Brady is on his side of the field, he's going to launch one. And guess what? It's a 33% ball. It's not a 50-50. He's like, either we're going to catch it, it's going to be an incomplete, or guess what? They might intercept it. It's a punt. We just took them all the way down in field position. It happened twice in the Green Bay game. There's a different mentality. It's not Jameis Winston's risk it for a biscuit. It's the GOAT out there risking it for the biscuit. That'll do it for our top Super Bowl storylines. Coming up, we'll have more on Super Bowl 55. Can the Chiefs give the Bucs an L as they did earlier this season? We'll tell you if they should be a concern for Tampa Bay. That's next on Speak For Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak For Yourself. The Chiefs offense unloaded on the Buccaneers back in Week 12. Patrick Mahomes threw for over 400 yards, and Tyreek Hill had over 200 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Tom Brady threw 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter, but it was not nearly enough. But on the positive side, the Bucs have won 7 straight games since losing to KC. So, Marcellus, I've asked you this question last week about the Packers. I asked you this question the week before about the Saints and the Bucs. But now it's time to talk about the Super Bowl matchup. Should the Bucs be concerned with their regular season loss to the Chiefs?
No, not at all. You know why you keep asking that question?
It's a great question.
It is a good question. It's not great anymore because they keep destroying the demon that they have to exercise against every single time they see that familiar opponent. they go out there and handle business, whether they lost to them, not once or twice in terms of the Saints. You see how Cam Jordan's face looked when we asked him that question about what happened the third time. Or even Green Bay, a team that they beat, that they stomped out, and they said, oh, we can do it again. So now in this situation, I think that they're fully confident in beating the Chiefs. In part because if you look at that game, that was a tale of two different halves. The first half, first quarter, Chiefs jump up, 17-0. Tyreek Hill is going video game on people. And then you watch it in the second half, it's a whole different ball game. First half, 20-7. Second half, Chiefs, look out. You're getting outscored 17-7. With that type of adjustment that you saw from the Tampa Bay Bucs at halftime, you know what that does to me? It makes me look at this team in a different complexion. Just like in life, a team that adjusts to adversity, that's the team I like to bank on because things don't always go your way. And the Kansas City Chiefs, look, they're a tremendous offense. We know last year in the playoffs, they were able to respond to adversity. I am not slighting their team, but I'm looking at a team in recent memory, recent history, doing exactly that same thing, showing adjustments to adversity. That's why I like them. And then also, if you listen to the players, they're not even talking in code in terms of what happened in that first ball game. Tyrann Mathieu says, if I remember correctly, and I'm quoting, I don't think I was too happy after the Tampa Bay game. You wasn't happy? You got on the bus and y'all won. Y'all won that game. You know why he wasn't happy, Acho? Because Brady and the Bucs were breathing down his neck. And he knows, that ghost's going to haunt us. And if we got to see it again, not sure if we have what it takes to slay that dragon. Well, the moment of truth is here, and they're fully confident these Bucs boys are going to go out there and go get this.
Yeah, the Bucs should be concerned, Sal. And sometimes a game, just like a race, can appear closer than it actually is. You talk about the scoreboard. The game was only a 3-point game, but if you dive into the details like Marcellus does so well, like I tried to do, the last time the Buccaneers had the ball with the ability to take the lead, 7 minutes, 11 seconds in the first quarter. So, yeah, the game was just a 3-point game, but the Buccaneers actually had no threat of ever inflicting any scoreboard damage to the Chiefs. It's just like a race when that person is getting close to you and they start panting, but they're still slowing down and you not. So it appears as if it was close. The game appears as if it was close, but it's really not. The Bucs have to be concerned because you think about this game, the only way you're really going to beat the Chiefs, the only way Patrick Mahomes loses if can you run the ball. On average, Patrick Mahomes, 8 of his 9 losses, the opponents have rushed the ball for 166 yards on average. But you're Bruce Arians and the Bucs. No risk it, no biscuit. Quarterback coach, former quarterback. Offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, former quarterback. Head coach, Bruce Arians, former quarterback. Tom Brady, the man who runs the show, current quarterback. If you fall back on what you know best, you're going to fall back on trying to pass the ball. And you cannot out Patrick Mahomes. That's why the Bucs should be concerned because that's what they tried to do the first time around.
Oh, my goodness. First of all, I'm loving this new category stat that you're coming with. That's the second time. The first time I'd say, he don't know what he did, so I ain't going to give him the credit.
What I do?
This whole... Okay, in the game, you were more than a possession behind, and you really had no chance of striking.
It matters.
I don't know what the hell we're going to call it, an Acho stat, but I like that, except it doesn't take into account the second scoreboard, which is the one that matters when you're talking about a rematch. People laugh me off this planet when I told them about the dual scoreboard. But then Tampa Bay keeps making me look right, and people start laughing at themselves for laughing at me. Listen to this, Acho. Here's a stat. 3 of the last 4 times the Super Bowl was a rematch of a game played in that regular season. The team that lost in the regular season turned the tables and won in the Super Bowl. And 5 of the last 7. Basically, the odds show that the team that was able to go back to the drawing board because you were forced to because you lost is the team that responds best and adjust to that same adversity. I'm not just talking. I'm just not up here just giving you empty air. I'm telling you that this team looked at itself not only as the season progressed, haven't lost a game since that Kansas City loss, but even in that same game, they went in there at halftime and said, these biscuits ain't working. Whatever we cooking, y'all messing them up. Let's change the batter. First half, point differential, -13 for the Bucs. Second half, +10. First half, you gave up 246 yards in differential, only 120 in your advantage in the second half. If you look at this, it was a game within a game. And the Bucs won the second game, the second half. They have the mental momentum to go into this game and do what the stats say that every team does, basically. Turn the tides.
I like what you're saying, Marcel. So I genuinely do. I genuinely do. But you're a great television person. You always give proper takes. The problem is there's usually one flaw in your take.
That's why I ain't straight hand.
The only flaw in your take, and because you're not light-skinned. You
better stop. I got to lose about 10 more.
Light-skinned bias. The only other flaw in your take is this. The mind and the scoreboard of the mind matters unless you were inhibited by the body. Marcellus, I didn't know when I was in Sunday school that the pastor and what they was preaching was applicable to football.
Yes.
The pastor would always say, the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. And the problem is the Buccaneers secondary, their flesh is weak as it is comparable to Tyreek Hill. Let me show you exactly why, because I got to go to the big board.
You're going back.
I missed it. Let me show you exactly why the Buccaneers have to be concerned with the first round loss. It's about the X's, Marcellus, and it's about the Acho. Okay, now look, in the first game, they tried to play man-to-man against Tyreek Hill, but here's the problem. You can't play man-to-man against Tyreek Hill. Let the tape run, because I'm going to show you the Buccaneers strategy and why they should be concerned. Up top, you got Carlton Davis. He's going to be one-on-one with Tyreek Hill as you see it. You're going to start to see the icon. Now, one-on-one, he's giving him a 10-yard cushion. You got a middle field safety. They tried to play single high safety the whole game, but here is the issue at hand. When you're playing single high safety, there really is no help. After Tyreek Hill gets past Carlton Davis, what you see, that's the one safety left. So now the Buccaneers say this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to show a two-high safety look. That's going to discourage Patrick Mahomes from throwing the deep ball. They move Tyreek Hill first thing into the number 3 position. You're going to see it as it begins to load. You move Tyreek Hill into the number 3 position, still against Carlton Davis. Tyreek Hill, he ate on Carlton Davis all day. I feel bad for him. More like Carlton Banks. But now, after you see the dual screen, showing a two-high safety look. Two-high safeties, don't throw the deep ball. Patrick Mahomes, it's not there. But Patrick Mahomes, he's already seen past that. You're not actually in two high safeties. One safety's going to move. It's just one single high safety again. He beats them just like that. Another bomb. Marcellus, against Carlton Davis, Tyreek Hill went 9 for 9, 211 yards, and 3 TDs. So I understand they might be winning the game of the mind. What about the game of the body, big dog? What about the game of the body?
Oh, man, I tell you, too smart to go up there and kill it like you did on that full screen. Amazing. And then end it by saying that you think the body over the mind when you know it's mind over matter. and you know what? I'm going to use the mind of the same great receiver you just spoke of so highly, and Tyreek Hill, and what he said post-game about what happened in that first game.
Talk to me.
Interesting. He says Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator. Start throwing cover 2s, cover 5s, strongs at him, and things like that to slow him down. And it worked. Tyreek Hill, the first half, what did he have? 200 yards, and then the second half only 50, if I'm seeing that correctly. Point being, it was a different half, right? Why? Because they know how to play him. The first quarter. Why I keep saying first half with Tyreek? It was the first quarter. Dude came out the gate on them, lighting it up. And then Todd Bowles said, oh, my, you're right. He's different. And it's one thing to see speed on film, and it's another thing to see speed go by you on the field. I hope all football players took geometry at some point in there. Did they? But the point is, I don't care what your assumption of angles are. When you get out there, some people, you just need to run to the parking lot as soon as they get the football and then come back into the end zone. And I think that they made that proper adjustment, just like the Chiefs saw the Tampa Bay Bucs make the proper adjustments after the game. Who's number 1 in win-loss since the Chiefs lost? It's the Tampa Bay Bucs. Number 1 in NFL in points per game since the Chiefs lost. It's the Tampa Bay Bucs, man. I could just keep going down stat after stat. Even Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes in a one-on-one conversation, even though the game is not that, has had a better stretch run than even Patrick Mahomes. It's all adding up for a Bucs victory.
I got a question for you, big dog. Let's talk a little life, sociology, if you will. That was your master's? That was your majors?
My major. That was your master's. Which is on Black History? You talking master's this month? Not this month. Ain't no master's.
That was what you studied in class?
Yes, it was. Undergraduate.
Now, look, Sel, I'm starting to draw issue with you're praising the Buccaneers for facing adversity as opposed to praising the Chiefs for being smart enough to avoid it.
I feel that pushback internally as well. Yeah.
Because the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, let me not say the Chiefs, they've been undefeated as well since they beat the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Now, the Chiefs lost when Patrick Mahomes didn't play week 17,
That
but
counts.
Patrick Mahomes was undefeated.
No,
so
I get you.
If your biggest point of praise is that the Buccaneers got themselves into a mess, but they learned from that mess, I think you also have to equally praise the Chiefs for being smart enough to avoid the mess. Like, I don't praise the dude who went to the party and then the cops show up, but he left and learned his lesson and didn't get in trouble. I praise the dude who was like, hey, what y'all going to this party for? We ain't got no need to be there. That's my only pushback with you praising the Buccaneers for learning from the trouble they put themselves in.
Look, I am with you on the whole temptation argument. Like, do you avoid it? Or do you expose yourself to it with discipline? Which
That's the difference between me and you.
I go to it. You like, I better not go. But look, I'm going to go to it. I'm like, whoa, that was hot. Oh, let me go home. Honey, I'm back. Hey, look, I'm okay with that because I've been burned before in that conversation. But let's be real. I'd rather be a team that never had to deal with adversity, except going back into my experiences, whether it was in track and field, and it's funny in track and field, we always go back to it. It's such a pure sport. It just tells on itself. This is how track runners start. They beat their cousin, and then they try to beat their big brother, and they're like, I'm close. Let me go out there and train every day and become a track athlete and try to beat my brother. Then you beat your brother. Then you're beating everybody in your local neighborhood. But then you got to go to beat city. Then you got to go to state. Then you got to go to regionals. Then you got to go to nationals. Then you got to go to internationals. And every layer of that, you will face adversity. I don't give a damn how great you are. And that's the one thing that could come back to hurt this Chiefs team is the response, the mind's response to adversity in the moment. It just seems like the Buccaneers are better trained to make the adjustments. They're better trained to say, you know what? I see this adversity. We've seen it before, and we may have to respond. Now, they can pull out the nuclear weapon and Patrick Mahomes in his arm and always erase all deficits. But it's something about a collective belief, the believers in Brady that is now existing in Tampa Bay that the Chiefs are going to have to see. Even the Chiefs said it. They're like, look, when we finished that game, Tyrann Mathieu, Tyreek Hill, others were all saying, we're going to see those boys again. And based on what we saw in the Green Bay game, they're completely different.
But I'm starting to wonder, though, Sel, if you're the Buccaneers, don't you have to really, not the Bucs, because they're going to lie to themselves, we have to wonder, will the Buccaneers actually run out of weapons? Meaning you talk about, okay, the Buccaneers got close. That second half, they threw a jab, outscored the Chiefs 17-7.
Yeah.
They got close. But what if that's all the reach that their arm has? You feel me? Like, it doesn't matter if the boxer, he gets an inch away from knocking you out if that's all the reach that his arm has. So if you're the Buccaneers, I'm starting to wonder, like, man, okay, you held Tyreek Hill to 50 yards and a half. We still gonna brag about that? I mean, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, if we got it, they combined for 350 yards. Patrick Mahomes had a perfect passer rating when targeting Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Mahomes went 21 for 23. That's a game when just targeting two receivers. So you start to wonder, defensively, is Todd Bowles out of reach? You start to wonder, offensively, is Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, are they out of, even if they throw their best punch, like you talked about with Floyd Mayweather. What he would first do is, you said he would throw his best punch or you'd absorb your best punch?
No, he would throw the straight right to the diaphragm just to hear the sound of it, and it would tell him something in his genius of mind how to approach the rest of the fight.
So I'm wondering if, even if the Bucs throw their best jab, is that going to be enough? Or is it just still going to be left wondering like, oh, that was cute?
Well, you get Antoine Winfield Jr. back. So look at the Green Bay game and how they were dominant on defense, and they're going to have more on that side of the ball. Let's also look at the fact that in this situation, it's not about how far or how much they can reach, because you can always change your angles. Your arms don't have to get longer. Just got to be better with your footwork. You better be better with your footwork, how you approach it. It's all about the angles in terms of mentality and how you approach an opponent. Let's just be real. They have more weapons. They're more explosive than you. So I'm looking at a situation where you start to wrap your mind around the complex problem that the Chiefs present. And then you start to say, you know what? They know that they can't count us out no matter what. I mean, the Chiefs, 17 donut, it was a wrap. And then they had to finally lean at the photo finish because the other team was coming. That gives you confidence. How about this one also gives you confidence? Beating the Saints after losing twice in the regular season. Watching other teams like the Ravens, who defeated the Titans, but they lost to them in the regular season. I mean, you use it all. You fake it till you make it. You watch the Browns lose to the Steelers and then turn the tables. You can look at the Rams defeat the Seahawks and then they turn the tables. I'm just thinking right now, this is going to be a different team, different ingredients mixed up differently than it was the first go-round. Are the Chiefs going to change up, or are the Bucs going to hit them with that sucker punch they didn't see coming? Coming up, Patrick Mahomes is going for a Super Bowl repeat. We'll tell you if another Lombardi trophy will put him in the GOAT conversation next. Speak for yourself. Welcome back. Patrick Mahomes already has a stacked resume with a regular season MVP and a Super Bowl MVP trophy. Can also make history if his Chiefs win on Sunday against Tom Brady's Bucs. Mahomes is only 25 years young and will be the youngest quarterback in NFL history with multiple Super Bowl rings. Bucky is back with us, but Acho, with another Super Bowl win, put Patrick Mahomes in the GOAT conversation?
It absolutely would, fellas. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come out with my knockout punch early. Sometimes I save my best for last, but I'm going to lead with the headline. Here is why, Bucky. It's going to put him in the GOAT conversation either realistically or in perception. What do I mean? Barry Sanders, Marcellus, you tell me he's the greatest of all time.
I know he is. I played against him.
Absolutely.
Damn
no
right.
question.
No question. No conversation.
The only problem is there's no statistical metric to back up Barry Sanders being the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. He's not greatest in yards per carry. He's actually second. He's not greatest in yards per game. There's no statistical metric. He's not number one overall in yards in the NFL history. He's not. There's no metric there.
Heart rate fluctuation of opponents.
Congratulations. There's no metric that we can research and quantify to make Barry Sanders the greatest of all time because he retired so soon. We talk about the late, great Sean Taylor. Ask your favorite safety who his favorite safety was. And the answer will probably be Sean Taylor. Now, again, there's not really any statistical metric that can near quantify Sean Taylor, the late Sean Taylor, as being one of the greatest safeties of all time because we didn't see enough of him. But in perception, Barry Sanders lives on as one of the greatest of all times. And in perception, Sean Taylor lives on as one of the greatest of all time. So why do I bring this up? Because Patrick Mahomes, if he wins this Super Bowl and for some unforeseen reason he decides to retire at the age of 25 or has some tragic injury, he's still going to go down as the greatest of all time because of the perception of what he has accomplished at such a young age. Now, if we want to disregard perception and talk about reality, let's talk about quarterbacks that have multiple Super Bowl titles and MVPs. Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Bart Starr, John Elway, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. Now, when you talk about the greatest of all time, 3 of those names are in the conversation. Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. You don't talk about Bart Starr because of how ancient that was as far as statistically. So, if Patrick Mahomes will now be in a conversation where all the greatest of all times lie, in reality, or he will be in the conversation based upon what he would have achieved at his age in perception. It doesn't matter how you slice it, Sal. It don't matter how you dice it, Bucky. Patrick Mahomes will be in the conversation for greatest of all time, both in reality or in perception with the Super Bowl win.
That's what's wrong with these kids today. They think reality is perception and perception is reality. They're different. That's why they're different words. Oh, my goodness. In Wiley's world, if it's not merit-based, it doesn't matter. And guess what? You, even in your greatness, Patrick Mahomes, if you win this game and you have two Super Bowl victories, and then you're looking at Tom Brady with 6, y'all not in the same conversation because you guys are not on the same tier. Look, I'm going to say it like this. Only 4 quarterbacks in history have more than 2 rings, and you're about to face one. So even if you win, even in success, you're still on a tier with other quarterbacks that have not come close to the GOAT in Tom Brady. Tom Brady as an individual has more Super Bowl appearances than every NFL franchise, except the Patriots, of course, the one he took to 9 of those Super Bowls. Man, are y'all kidding me right now? Tom Brady, if he wins this game, will have 7 Super Bowl wins. Let me tell y'all this. No other player has played in more than 6 Super Bowls in its entirety. So how in the hell is now Patrick Mahomes in success and certainly in failure going to even be put in this GOAT conversation, because he's still going to be tiers below what Tom Brady has done? Come on, y'all. We got to pour the concrete and let it harden. We got to stay in reality with this one. If I got 6 and you have 2, I don't care what numbers you're talking about. I don't care what perception you are trying to buy into. You are not me, and you got a long ways to go before you even come close to me.
I'm just confused, Marcellus. I'm confused. Bucky, I apologize, but I'm confused. Because Marcellus said, I stick to merit-based. And I get that, because I would like to as well. But the problem is you've offered opinions that are contradictions. Again, the biggest comparison that's the opinion is Barry Sanders. You said ask any opponent. Ask the heartbeat of the opponent. That's not merit-based.
Oh, you want some real take on Barry?
If you want to
Who's the best running back of all time?
Then you'd want to see, if based on your argument, Emmitt Smith. Based on your argument. And I think based on most people's arguments would be Emmitt Smith, if you want to say that. So if you want to go merit-based,
I am going merit-based.
Let's go merit-based. But if you want to go Marcellus Wiley, then I would have to say
I know my name. Don't be cutting me off and say my name. Here's the thing. I said Boat. Who's the best running back of all time? Best. Barry Sanders. Who's the greatest of all time? Oh, you want to have that conversation, Acho? I caught you again. Who's the best quarterback of all time? It ain't Tom Brady. But who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Come on, big dog. We stay into this conversation.
You know, like Marcellus, you took us all the way around the bend, but I'm going to do it like this. The GOAT is number 15. Patrick Mahomes, because if Patrick Mahomes wins this one, he will already have 2 Super Bowl rings. He will likely have 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He already has an MVP. He's 38-8 as a starter. He only has 24 interceptions. And when I think about the GOAT, let me define this for you, because I know you guys are wordsworths and you really understand the power of words. He is the most talented and the most accomplished if he does this, because he already has transcendent talent that we can see that already puts him in the conversation, because we talk about he might be the most talented quarterback that we have seen in the National Football League. And think about all the quarterbacks that have played. But now when you talk about a guy who in 3 seasons as a starter, he already has 2 rings, an MVP, maybe 2 Super Bowl MVPs. My gosh, what are we talking about? And Marcellus, you're over there ring counting. You're ring counting. I think you would say that Robert Horry is the best NBA basketball player based on that argument, because he has 7 rings. I mean, if we're just putting rings on fingers, that's an easy debate. But I thought we were having a real conversation. And you're a critical thinker coming from Columbia. I know you took some classes where he had that critical thought that came out, right?
I thought we were really going to have a conversation. First of all, you got to qualify to be in the conversation. And that's what Patrick Mahomes has not done. Y'all going to put Patrick Mahomes, even if he wins, he will be the 13th quarterback with 2 rings or more. 13th. That's GOAT. So 13 guys are in this GOAT conversation according to y'all about rings. Oh, no, it's because he's transcending. That's great. But let me tell you this story again. I've told you guys this story before about a young J.J. Watt, who, if you want to talk about moving the position in terms of transcending and having the metrics and numbers, that young J.J. Watt was a whole lot. 20 sacks, 17 sacks, 16, right, Acho? And I got a text, and I'm not going to say his name because I protect the guilty, but I got a text after doing a segment pumping up J.J. Watt, but then also putting out some of the fire saying, hey, there's a lot of football left to be played. Injuries however you're going to respond to adversity. The team around you can change. Think about it. This team is so tremendous, trying to be dynastic, that you think all these guys are going to be there for 5 years, 10 years going forward. They did a tremendous job this offseason keeping the guys they should keep. But trust me, those 1B players and those 2A players are going to get paid if they keep winning rings, and they're going to get paid elsewhere. So much football left in front of Patrick Mahomes for y'all to say he's already closed the gap on somebody who's done this for 2 decades. Shame on y'all for trying to give us these damn hot takes. Shame on y'all because he doesn't qualify.
It's not even hot.
Well, you're right. It's not even hot. It's a cold
You
take.
ain't even got to blow on the food. It's just a take that you can digest quickly. You're right. COVID. So here's the point. Right
give it
now,
to me real.
a lot of people are claiming Aaron Donald is the greatest interior defensive lineman the game has seen.
And he does it every year.
A lot of people are claiming that. If Aaron Donald stopped playing right now, people would say that was the greatest defensive lineman the game has ever seen. He'd be at least in the GOAT conversation. Now, is it merit-based? No. Statistically, does Sapp have more sacks, etc.? Yes. Statistically, do others have more rings? Yes. But he would at least be in the GOAT conversation. Why? Because of perception or the limited reality. My point is this. Patrick Mahomes, Marcellus, I feel you. But it's almost semantical to say the only thing limiting from being in the conversation is time and space. That's it. Because at this junction, he's closing the gap. His ascension is higher than Tom Brady's ascension at this age. No,
that's the beauty of it. You can't. That's the beauty of it. Let's not be the weatherman. We ain't got to talk about what's going to happen next week, next year, in a decade. We're talking about right now because things change. J.J. Watt changed. We don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Donald. Everyone is betting that it's going to keep being on this high level, but things have changed for greats before. But even if it doesn't change, you know how far behind he is than Tom Brady? Look, let's go in our track terms. Carl Lewis, remember when he got the 4 gold medals? And then it was 84 Olympics right here in Los Angeles. Everybody like, damn, it's Carl Lewis. I'm going to play some simple math games with you guys. If Brady has 6 and your boy Patrick Mahomes has 2, that's Carl Lewis basically looking at somebody and say, look, man, I got 4, but someone else has 12. If it's the same numbers, it's the same ratio. Is 12 to 4 the same? Is that close? Well, why do you think 6 to 2 is close? It's not. He has to be Patrick Mahomes this great again, and then again. And then Tom Brady going to say, oh, good, you're right here, but you still haven't surpassed me. Why is this conversation so baffling for people? He has to go around the course 2 more times at the same level to just catch Tom Brady, not even surpass him. Come on, Bucky, come with me, big dog.
I like what you did because what you did, you gave us a fractions problem because you broke that down 12 and 4 and split it up 6 to 2, the ratio. So since we're going to do that, let's have another fraction class. I like math. And so I'm looking at Pat Mahomes, and he's played 4 years, and he's been to, this would be his 2nd Super Bowl. So if he wins 2, that puts him at 50%. I'm looking at Tom Brady, who's played over 20 years. He doesn't have 10 rings. That ratio is off. And so I know you like to find a common denominator. So if we find the common denominator, I think Pat Mahomes is ahead of that. But look, this is what we're talking about. Most talented and most accomplished. He has more arm talent that's on par with Dan Marino. He has the improvisational skills of a John Elway. He has the clutch factor and the ability to win games like Joe Montana. When you put all of those names into a stew, you have to say that he's the GOAT. And I know this conversation was just about him being in the conversation. He is already up in there. Like, this is a done deal. Look.
He ain't nowhere. Hold on. You said 2nd Super Bowl. Why not 3? Oh, because the GOAT kept him from his 3rd in a row. And y'all go, and look, I give him this one. It's 2, big dog. You know what's, this is problematic to me. This is one of the reasons, no lie, I don't go to barbershops. Because it's not just because I don't have any hair. It's because y'all be talking that craziness up in there. I got to make an appointment now. Acho talking about it costs $60 before the tip. It's just insane. But you know what? There's a lot of people out here acting like Patrick Mahomes. looking like Patrick Mahomes, but they ain't at the barbershop. They at Acho Salon right here. This is Acho. Acho over there with Patrick Mahomes. Them boys up in there. Yeah, Patrick, whatever you say. 2 is 6. Wink, wink. Can I come to your home? Can I come see your shoe collection? Will y'all stop with this? Patrick Mahomes is fine with reality.
Yo,
I just don't understand why y'all not.
She faded me up nice.
She is
She faded me up nice out there in the barber chair.
Matter of fact, Acho, holla at your boy after the show. Let's see how that cut really looked out. I'm going to stop right there before I get in trouble. Bucky, you got anything left? Because I don't smoke both of y'all.
I'm out of gas. I like that, though. Acho, you look good. Nice smile, too.
Yeah. Real nice smile. All right, coming up, Danny Amendola says Tom Brady was behind the success of the Patriot Way. Is that really the commercial? That's right. We'll tell you if he deserves all the credit. Next, speak for yourself. Acho wasn't in there for no haircut. I see now.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Tom Brady is headed to his first Super Bowl as a Buccaneer, but let's not forget his days as a Patriot. Brady won an NFL record 6 Super Bowl titles in New England and with Bill Belichick. But former Patriot Danny Amendola said on First Things First earlier today that Brady deserves the bulk of the credit for the Patriot success. Y'all take a listen.
When you see Patriot Way in the dictionary, it's going to have Tom Brady's name next to it. None of those coaches threw any passes. None of those coaches caught any passes. None of those coaches made any tackles. They got guys in the right position because they watch a lot of film and they spend all their time at the facility. But Tom Brady is the Patriot Way, and that's the reason why Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl right now, and the Patriots aren't.
Bar. I hear you, Danny Amendola.
Sound like he was at the bar.
Oh,
the hell?
Obviously, you don't.
I hate it.
Why don't you agree with Danny Amendola, bro?
Because he's Danny Amendola. Like who are you to shoot at Bill Belichick like that? And indirectly, too. I mean, he tried to aim at him, but he was like, I better not because I know how great Bill Belichick is. Why does everyone have to part these two outside of what they already did in parting physically from each other? Belichick had a contribution to the dynasty as well as Tom Brady. And if you don't want to go 50-50, you're going to start to look stupid in your guesswork. Now, Danny was there. He's going to look at me and say, well, I was there. And I'm going to sit there and say, yeah, Danny, and you sound like you have an axe to grind with Bill Belichick. In the same conversation, I read that he says that playing for Bill Belichick is not easy. What coach is it easy to play for? They are literally
Andy Reid.
Who?
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid? Easy? When they tell another man to go against his will or go greater than what he thinks his limits are, make you run 55 gassers on just a random Wednesday with one hamstring, like the things that they make us do, it's not supposed to be easy. That's why you're tough. That's why you get the best out of yourself. Also in the same conversation, you know what he says? Bill Belichick can be an a-hole sometimes. Oh, really? You're trying to say that the third most winning coach of all time may demand a little more of you than the average Joe? You're trying to tell me someone who has 8 Super Bowl rings may ask Danny Amendola to do a little more than Danny's comfortable with? Look, I know Danny's not there anymore, and I get it. He's doing his podcast thing, and he's still playing. Whatever he's doing, good. I know that distance makes the heart grow fonder. But in this situation, I think it's made the heart grow full of BS, because what Danny Amendola is saying about Bill Belichick shouldn't even turn around and look down at him at that. Too much, huh?
Marcellus.
I was a little mean right
I'm
there.
appalled. I agree wholeheartedly with Danny Amendola, man. Wholeheartedly. And you said a lot, Marcellus, but unfortunately you said a lot of nothing, because you said a lot about things that are relevant. Danny Amendola's keeping it a buck with you. And when somebody's going to be honest with you, Marcellus, appreciate their honesty.
What did he say?
You don't get nicknames for being bad. You don't.
Yes, you do. They call me Booger Boy until I was 13. You want to know why? It wasn't good.
You don't get nicknames in football
okay.
for being bad.
Okay.
Quarterbacks, you heard Colin said it before, like, he didn't like how Andy Dalton was called the Red Rifle. Like, you're not good enough to get a nickname. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get good nicknames for being excellent. The Patriot Way came into existence because of excellence. Here's the problem. When Tom Brady is there, the Patriots are excellent. When Tom Brady departs, the Patriots are no longer excellent. So the Patriot way, like a magnet, it gravitates towards Tom Brady. Look at it right there. Tom Brady with the Patriots. What is that? 219 and 54. You know, my eyes, I can't really read. I can't really see all that good. But Tom Brady, and when he's no longer there, Bill Belichick, the success it begins to dissipate.
God.
So, Marcellus, the Patriot way, it follows Tom Brady. And if the Patriot way follows Tom Brady.
7-9 this year. What do you mean follows? With nobody on the team.
If it follows Tom Brady, then the Patriot way does not exist without Tom Brady.
Bill Belichick had a bunch of guys who have no nickname, as you say, because they sorry. You ain't got a nickname either. Me either. We sorry. Guess what? Danny Amendola, you ain't got a nickname either. Why are you trying to now and retroactively try to break up something that was so together when it was working? It was so glued together. I mean, he almost sounds like the divorced kid. Got to pick a parent. Like, it's okay, dog. You're still going to Tom Brady's golf tournament. You don't need to butter up like this. It's crazy. Oh, Danny boy, like R&B singing, but R&B-essing singing, but you remember him from Death Row Records? Anyway, the point is, I am tired of people taking shots at people.
Shot.
That's a shot. What's not a shot? That it's about Tom Brady? Why didn't he say this when they were 0-0?
Marcellus.
Why didn't he say this before the season since he knows so much? You know what? He's riding the success in the waves of what Tampa Bay is doing and say, see, I told you, but you didn't tell me anything before it happened.
So if you were like, man,
what?
Acho, you be yelling a lot. That's not a shot. That's a truth. That's the truth. I yell a lot. So you can't mistake a shot for a truth. Now, sometimes they interweave, and sometimes they coexist, but you can't mistake a shot for the truth. Danny Amendola simply said, hey, bruh.
What did he say?
Bill Belichick ain't the reason for the success. That's become abundantly clear, Marcellus. You have a 77% winning percentage with Tom Brady. You have a 47% winning percentage without Tom Brady. I don't even know how this is a conversation or a discussion. You make the playoffs 17 times out of 18 seasons with Tom Brady. You made the playoffs one time out of 8 seasons without Tom Brady. Ain't no Tom Brady, there ain't no Patriot way.
Oh, really? The Patriot way. You want to talk about Tom Brady had the #1 scoring defense his entire 20-year career in the NFL while he was there. Well, who? Bill Belichick, who's a what? Defensive guru. Oh, okay. Number 7, #1, number 8, number 2, number 1, number 6, when Tom Brady won those 6 Super Bowl rings. But you know what? Marcellus Wiley didn't have a great enough career to say this, and Danny Amendola certainly didn't either. But let's listen to Jimmy Johnson when we were talking about this same subject. Roll the tape. Who deserves more credit in that dynasty, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady was a 7th-round pick out of Michigan that a lot of teams didn't even want him.
Ooh.
I don't remember him being the greatest of all time coming out of Michigan. So somebody developed this quarterback. Somebody molded this quarterback into the greatest of all time. Now, I don't know who did this. Now, this, Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. I think he helped Tom Brady get to this point.
I got a question.
Bill don't want no crumbs talking about him.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Is it more likely that a great head coach, Jimmy Johnson, has a little coaching bias, or Danny Amendola, who was in the locker room
Player
for
bias?
5 years? You said he ain't got a nickname. Actually, they called him Playoff Danny per this site. So he was in the locker room called Playoff Danny because of his playoff success. Who you gonna listen to, Sal? You gonna listen to the coach that might have the coaching bias?
We gonna Playoff P? Playoff D? Boy, Acho, we trying to keep our credibility. No more Danny Amendola love. Coming up, Deshaun. Danny boy is all he gets. Deshaun Watson wants out, but Houston is not budging. We'll tell you if the Texans should trade their star quarterback next. Speak for yourself. No, they should trade for Danny Amendola, and then he'll have a weapon. New tracks, new teams, and a new champ. The 2021 NASCAR season starts in just 2 weeks with the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. February 14th, only on Fox. Vroom, vroom. Welcome back. Deshaun Watson officially requested a trade from the Texans last week, but that does not mean it's going to happen. Texans general manager Nick Caserio said recently, quote, "We have zero interest in trading the player," while reports say the team is hopeful for a face-to-face meeting with Watson that would include new head coach David Culley. Then there's this Watson deleted the Texans from his social media platforms over the weekend. Come on, man. His bios have him in regular clothes, not in uniform. And on Instagram, he listed himself as athlete, not Texans quarterback. So, Acho, should the Texans trade Deshaun Watson?
Man, I thought you were about to tell me he listed himself as single, big dog. You know how it used to be? Facebook, remember, you'd be in a relationship, married, and then they changed their Facebook status and you knew something was up. The Texans got to trade Deshaun, man.
You still with that?
I am. For 3 reasons. Number one, he don't even claim you no more. Like, straight up. It's like, hey, you still in Houston? Nah, I don't know Houston, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't really mess with Houston like that. No. So he don't claim you no more. Number 2, even with Deshaun Watson, y'all only won 4 games this year. So it's not like Deshaun Watson is the exclusive solution to all the problems in Houston. And then lastly, you saw what Matthew Stafford was able to bring in with that Rams trade and the Lions. Yeah. So if you're the Texans and you might be able to go get 3 or 4 first-round picks, you understand with Deshaun Watson, we still only won 4 games, so it's not like Deshaun Watson is enough. Maybe we can leverage Deshaun Watson to go get more. So between the fact that he don't claim you as his, he also only won 4 games with you, and you can leverage those picks, yeah, still, it's time to make that trade.
Man, they ain't gonna do nothing. I mean, nothing. You ever get that? You ever been in that situation, that relationship, and they calling you, you're like, I ain't picking up. And you, bring. And then they see you at school, you're like, oh, I'm around the locker, can't see me. Like, they don't even have to do all of that, but that's what I've done before. They don't have to hide, because guess what? You talking about, oh, Deshaun don't claim you no more. Well, guess what? You ain't gonna be cashing them checks either no more if you wanna go there. And if you act like, oh, fine, I'll go to war with you. You're gonna go to war to giving them back $21.6 million? Okay. You wanna go to war and each preseason game miss $620,000? You wanna go to war? Go ahead. That's an expensive war to fight with no results. If I'm them, I'm looking at Deshaun Watson, and I'm like, I wonder how low he will stoop. Because right now, I'm looking at this breakup like it's a 7th grade breakup with your girlfriend. You're sitting there saying, I'm an adult, mature franchise quarterback, but meanwhile, I'm going to take you off my Instagram. Like, what? You can't be both. You can't be the guy that I think of high character, tremendous in the community, tremendous player, mature, adult, and then I'm just going to take you off of my Instagram and just say, now what you gonna do? That does nothing to a general manager or a head coach that are there in part because Deshaun Watson is their franchise quarterback. Oh, you think you're gonna pump Cal McNair into saying I'm gonna have a change of heart? Have you seen Cal McNair? He don't look punkable. And all I'm saying is right now, Deshaun Watson, big dog, act your age, man. Be mature with this situation. Talk to them people face to face and say it with your chest. But this way, it's not gonna work. Coming up, we knew Uncle Jimmy would have something to say about Matthew Stafford's move to L.A. Well, that's next in that CNR shirt. Speak for yourself. Before we go, Uncle Jimmy is here. Matthew Stafford is reportedly headed to the Rams in a blockbuster trade. So, Uncle Jimmy, what do you have to say about this move? Get out.
Hey, man, I am of the firm belief that the city of Los Angeles owes a buttload of gratitude to the executives that speak for yourself.
Oh, okay. I'll take that.
Because it was Charlie and those guys that made the executive decision to extend the contract of one Uncle Jimmy. And ever since then, nothing but good things have happened to Los Angeles.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, if you think about it, the Dodgers won a championship, the Lakers won a championship, and the Raiders got ran out of Los Angeles. Hey, man, I'm just telling you that the Rams did exactly what Tampa Bay did. They went out and put their money on the old man just like y'all did. And they think that they got enough to make it to the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl's in their backyard. They got the holy trifecta. God, a Super Bowl in their backyard, and Uncle Jimmy. What more can you ask for?
A Clippers championship. The best team in the NBA in Los Angeles finally getting there over the hump. But you know what, Unc? Good talk. Fox Bet Live next.